you guys doing today? My name is Eli, and today we're gonna make a Shopify / React app. Shopify as your backend, React for your front end, and let's get started. This is what your app will look like. This is your basic home page. Here we have our products all listed out in their individual cards. We have here, once we click on one of the items, it takes us to our product page. We can go ahead and add a product to the cart. Our cart will automatically open. Here it tells our quantity, the title, the size, and then from there you can go to a checkout. And what Shopify provides in their Shopify by SDK, they provide a checkout where you don't have to build out all that extra functionality. It comes already as part of the SDK. So I guess we'll get started. So what we're going to do is, right now I'm in my sites directory where I house all of my websites. And we're going to go ahead and type this command, npx create React app Shopify -React. That's going to be the name of the application. So we're going to go ahead and do that. While that loads, we're just going to go back and look at some of the dependencies we need to install. So of course, for the backend, we'll be using Shopify. They're by SDK. And what we're going to do is we're going to install that with yarn add Shopify -by. For our UI, we're going to be using Atomize. I stumbled across them a couple weeks ago, and I've been liking it lately. So we're going to be using that. And let's go to the get started. And we would have to install Atomize and React transition group. Also, we would need to install Styletron as well. That's required to use Atomize and React. And then also we will be using React Router. So let's go to React Router. Alright. Click web. Alright, and then I'm going to use yarn, but you can use npm, and we'll install React Router DOM. So let's see how our install is doing. Alright, so we're done. So we're going to go ahead and cd into our app React. Alright, and we're going to open it up with VS Code. Alright, so we see we have all of our files here. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and put Command T. I'm just going to open this up in a new tab. Look at our package.json. And then we're going to start our project with yarn start. Should get the basic create React app. Alright, so here's our basic app. Alright, we're just going to delete a couple things. So we don't need the logo. Don't need app.tests. We don't need the CSS for that either. Alright, and then I'm gonna make a couple folders. So we're gonna make a components folder. Let's see, I'm gonna make a context because we will be using React's context with hooks. Let's see, and we're gonna add a pages folder. Alright, and then I'm just going to move app.js into the components folder. We have to adjust our index.js, so components. I spelled that wrong. NTS. Now components folder app. And then let's go to our app.js. We're not importing that. Importing the CSS. And then we can go ahead and delete all of this. Test. Alright, let's go back. Test. Alright, perfect. Alright, so let's go ahead and add our dependencies. So yarn add. You can also do this with npm install. And then let's go ahead and add Atomize. What else are we adding? React router. So that's dumb. I'll be adding React transition group. Alright. We're going to be adding Shopify by SDK. Styletron. Alright, and then Styletron React. Alright, and I believe that is it. Go ahead and press enter on that and let that do its thing. While that's doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and create a couple of pages. So that's finished pretty quick. All right, so let's go ahead and go to our index.js, actually app.js. All right, and then we are going to add wrappers for everything. So first we'll start with Styletron. Let's see how Styletron went ahead and did their thing. Import those. We're not going to be using .env for this site, so don't even worry about that. Engine, and then we need the Styletron provider. Sorry guys, tripping out. Alright, and then we need to add our engine. Okay. Alright, remove that from there. Okay, and then we're also going to be making a couple pages. So we're going to create a home page.js. I'm going to make a product page. Alright. In our components, we're going to add a couple files there. So we're going to be creating a cart. And creating a nav bar as well. And then our context. So I'll create shop context. Alright. Alright, so for our home page, basic React. Alright. Home. Let's go ahead and import our home page. app.js. Yeah, we need to go back a directory. Pages / home. Alright. We also need our router. We'll get that set up first. So we need our router for our routing, of course, but from our React router DOM. So let's go ahead and import that. We're going to import browser router, and we'll import that as router. We also need switch and our individual routes from React router DOM. Alright, so let's go ahead and add our router. Okay, and then from there we'll add our route for our home page. And then for our route, we need to add our path. And that path would just be /. So home page would be /, and the component would be our home page component. Alright, let's go ahead and make sure everything's looking good. Oh, wrong one. There we go, home. Alright, perfect. And then we also need to create our product page and import that function component. Alright. Alright. Product page. Go back to app.js. Let's go ahead and create another routes. Let's import the product page. Pages / product. Perfect. We'll go ahead and make that /product for now. We will come back to this. Alright, let's make sure this is working. This product. Alright, do I need to use exact? Let's see what's going on. React that. There we go. Issues. Oh, forgot to add our switching. Making mistakes. Alright. Let's go ahead and drag all of this into the switch. And this should fix that. There we go. It's not showing both of those components anymore. Alright. Now let's go ahead and go and create our context. Alright, so with our context, I usually use a class component. So class component. Let's use this. Let's see. defaults shop content. We're going to be adding a provider, so we'll touch that for now. I'm going to go ahead and make this shop provider. Alright. Export default shop provider. Perfect. Alright, so there are a couple of things. So we just need to import our clients from the Shopify buy. Alright, so let's go back and look at our documentation. Alright, so we need to import the client. From there, we need to add our domain and our storefront access token. So I won't be showing you guys how to get your access token. Once you create your Shopify app, you would just log into your backend on Shopify's website. You would go through your settings and create an access token, and you would just go ahead and paste that. Of course, you would use an EMV, but for now, we're just going to paste it in. So let's go ahead and add that. I'm going to be using, there was a default one that came with one of the, with the example project on GitHub for this API, SDK. I'm just going to use all of that information and rock with that. Let's see. You guys can go ahead and use it as well, just for this tutorial. One second. Alright, put that in. Alright. I'll put React. Constant. Alright, let's go into our class. We need to set an initial state. Alright, so we want to save all of our products. That comes in an array. When we go to the product page, I guess we'll save the products in here as well. And that comes as an object from the API. Our checkout. So when our page first loads, we have to initialize and create a checkout with Shopify's backend for every user. And generally, what you'd want to do is when you create this checkout, is you'd want to save it. I would say to the browser or save it somewhere to where you can go ahead and retrieve that checkout for the user, because now with this app we're making, if you were to refresh the page, that checkout would disappear and you would restart from the beginning, and you don't want that inside of your application. So there is a way to retrieve them, and I'll just show you guys that in the documentation when we get there. Alright, so, and then the cart also. So whenever we add a product to the cart, we want the cart to open. Alright, so let's go ahead and create a provider. Shop content. Oh, we didn't even create the context yet. Alright, so let's create a context. We're going to call it shop context equals React dot create context. All right. And shop context dot provider. And then we're going to go ahead and set an initial value. And then we're going to use a spread operator and an add state. I believe I did that wrong. Oh yeah, we need to add the children. See what's going on. A little typo. Alright. So for now, we'll just save our states. Okay. Let's add another little test function. Test. Alright, so we're just gonna wrap everything, wrap the context or the provider around everything. Also, we need to export our context so that our child components can consume them. So consumer context dot consumer. We're going to export both of those. Consumer shop context. Yep, perfect. And let's go to app.js, and then we will, let's go ahead and move this up. Alright, so let's import our provider. Shop provider from, we have to go back, go to context, shop context, shop provider. And the way that I'm moving all these things up like this, all the multiple lines, is you press and hold Option and use your arrow keys to move up and down, and then you press Command and the left bracket or right bracket. It's right under the delete key on Mac, and that's how I do that. So, all right, so we have our shop provider, and then let me go ahead. Let's refresh this. Let's go ahead and inspect. All right, and we go to components. See our shop provider, and there we go. There's our context, or our state in our context. All right, perfect. So let's go ahead and go back. Okay, all right, let's make sure our consumer is working. Okay, so let's go ahead and import use context. Use context, and we're gonna use effect as well. Okay, all right. We need to import our context as well. Shop context. I'm tripping out. Shop from we're going to be going back a directory, going to our context, and then shop context. All right. Use context. All right. I'll leave that. And then we need to add our shop context in. Go in here and we're just going to extract. Test. We're on our home page. There we go. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and add all of our functions in for our context. Let's see. Okay, so first we need to create a checkout. All right, I'm going to make this asynchronous. Okay. Let's see. We need to add items to carts. Async. Probably get the copy and paste. All right. We need to fetch all of the products. Fetch all products. Okay. We need to be able to fetch a single product, and we will be using the ID. So fetch product with ID. All right, and then our ID will be passed in whenever we call this function. All right, we need to have a function to close and open the cart. Carts. Okay. Open carts. We can do one line because not too much. All right, so let's go back and look at the SDK. All right, so we've created our client. All right, so we need to fetch all of the products. We need to be able to fetch a single product with an ID. We won't be using handle. You can, it's optional, but we won't be using that. Won't be using collections now. But say that you did have, say like a winter collection or something like that inside of your Shopify. You can go ahead and fetch those. All right, and we also need to create the checkout. All right, adding line items, that's adding items to the cart. So we'll be using the variant ID, and the quantity will need to be passed in. We're not worried about custom attributes, so variant quantity. Let's go add that now. So let's go to add item to carts. We need the variant ID and the quantity. I cannot spell quantity today. Oh my goodness. All right. You have the option of updating items. So say you want to update the quantity. You can do that from there. Let's see. You can fetch. So this is what I was talking about earlier. Whether you save it in a session or it's local storage, it's up to you. But whenever you create that initial checkout, you might want to save that somewhere so that whenever your user refreshes or comes back in a couple days, as long as they don't clear the cookies, if you were to use, gosh, can't think of the name of it. Goodness. Local storage, goodness. So if you guys would use local storage, you can go ahead and fetch that checkout and and bring that back to the customer instead of them having to restart. You can add your discounts, remove discounts, shipping address. We won't be doing that today. This is the checkout. So whenever we're in our cart and we check out, that's that web URL that will be provided inside of the checkout object. And yeah, let's go from there. So, all right, so let's create our checkout. So we will be using async wait. So await client checkout, and then create. Let's okay, and then let's go ahead and console.log our checkout. Alright, component did mount. Alright, create checkout. Perfect. Alright, let's go ahead over. Go to our app. Let's go to our console. Alright, and this is our checkout. That's the web URL I was talking about. Your total price, of course, is nothing in the cart, so that would show up as nothing. Alright, so let's go ahead back and let's set our state. Excuse me. Alright, so this dot set state, and then we're going to add our checkout. Okay, let's make sure that's working. Shop provider checkout, there we go, that's added into it. So let's go ahead and add our product and products. Let's go check the documentation. So products fetch all, and then product is fetched with the ID. Let's go do this. Okay, so fetch all products. Equals wait. The product. Or fetch all. Alright, doesn't need anything passed in. Set state. And then let's go ahead and add products. Alright, so that will be added to the array in our state. And let's do the product. Let's see. Fetch product dot fetch. I'm gonna go ahead and pass in that ID. Perfect. Dot set state. Okay. Product. Perfect. All right, let's go ahead and do our cart. So with closing the cart, all right, this dot set state is cart open false state is cart open true. Perfect. All right, last thing is adding an item to the cart, adding line items. Okay. Perfect. So cons line to it's an array. It gives you the option of adding multiple items at the same time, but here we're just gonna add one. So variant ID, perfect, and then the quantity. I'm gonna go ahead and parse the integer, make sure that it's a number, quantity, perfect, and then quantity. Oh, 10, perfect. All right. Checkout. Here goes. It waits. Client dot checkout dot add line items. All right. So we're just going to grab our checkout ID. Checkout that ID, and then we're getting that from where we at? There we go. Checkout ID, perfect, and then the line items to add. All right. Dot set state. And then we need to update our checkout and our state, and that would update it with the newly added product. All right, perfect. So we have all our functions. Let's go ahead and add these to our value and our context so that we can access them through our child components. All right, so fetch all products. This dot fetch all products, perfect. Fetch product by ID. Fetch product by ID. Alright, close cart. This dot open cart. Okay. We need to add item to cart, and that's it. So we'll rename this add item to checkout. Sorry about that. Add item to checkout. Perfect. Let's go ahead and slide this over. Okay. All right, so now let's go ahead and go over to our home page. All right, home page. Go ahead and take this out. All right, so we're going to need the fetch all products and the products. Okay. Use effect. Don't need that. Don't need that. And then here, fetch. Alright, we won't be doing any cleanup for now. Okay, so fetch all products. All right, so now we need to add a little bit of loading state, so we're going to do something pretty basic. If there are no products, return. I'm just going to have a div that says loading. Perfect. And then if not, we'll say we have products. Perfect. Let's check here. We have an array of products. Perfect. Okay, so now let's go ahead and bring in our Atomize library. So import from, I hope I'm saying it right. Gosh, goodness. Okay, so we're gonna need a container. Gonna need text. I need a div, rows, and columns. Perfect. Alright, so we go ahead and take all this out. Let's make sure we don't have any errors. Alright, perfect. Also, I'm using Emmet, so that I can just go ahead and type JSX/HTML much faster. Let's see, let's go ahead and row. Alright, and then from there, we're going to map our products, map through them. It's going to return us a product. And then we're going to immediately return some JSX. Alright, we need a key. Every time we're looping through on React, we need to go ahead and add a key. And for that, we're going to add our product ID. Alright. And then we'll just do a test. See if our titles are all printing out. Perfect. Looks ugly, but it's cool. Alright. I'm gonna remove this. Alright, so for our router, we need to be so that we can go to the product page whenever we were to click on any of these. We need to go ahead and import the link from React Router DOM, link from React Router DOM. Alright, so perfect. Okay, alright, so our 2 equals yep. Alright, so product. We'll do product for now. Alright, so one thing we did not do in our router is we need to have it to where we can send our parameters. So let's put a slash here. So it'll be a slash our product, our slash product, and then the ID of that product. And then from there, we'll go to our home page. So whenever we go to our project, what we're going to do is we're going to fetch that ID, and then we're going to go into our use effect, fetch that product, and then while it's loading, we'll show the loading state, and then show our product. Okay, so let's see. Alright, so let's go ahead and add a slash. Okay. Okay. All right. So we're gonna add a little bit of styling. I'm gonna add a div. I'll give it a little bit of padding. Alright, about 2 rem. We're gonna have another div. We can just use an image tag for our image, but I'd rather just use a div. I like using that better. Inside of when using Atomize. So we'll give that a height 20 rem. Okay. Background image. So let's go look at our background image. So products. Let's go to our first one. We just want our first image. So images, first one, then we're gonna get the source. Product dot images, first one, source, perfect. Background size equals cover. We want this centered, so we'll do background position equals center. All right. See what that's looking like. Not looking too good. What's going on? Let's go ahead and add our text. Product dot title. Alright, let's copy this. Need to go ahead and add the price. Generally, so for this instance, we're just going to add the price of the first variant. There are multiple variants. So say that you have, say that you have a jacket and you have a black jacket, a black and a brown one. So those are 2 variants. And then from there, say you have small, medium, large, and extra large. All of those variants, they each have a separate variant ID. So then when we do add those items to the cart and we reference those variant IDs in our cart, it'll make sure we're ordering the correct item for that customer. And Shopify provides all of that information for us. What's going on? Let's see. All right, let's go ahead and see column. Let's add a size. That's a 12 column grid. We want 4 of them. Let's see. Perfect. So, all right, perfect. Here's all of our products. This product page. It's not fetching anything because we haven't put that functionality in yet. All right, so let's go ahead and go to our product page. Perfect. Okay. All right, so just like the last one, we're going to import use effect and use context. Perfect. And then for the parameters, let's go ahead and go to the documentation. We don't need this. Don't need this. Don't need this. Okay. So URL parameters. Let's go ahead and check this out. For URL parameters. Alright, so we need to use params. We import that from React Router DOM. Router DOM. Alright. Then grab that. How do we grab it? ID. Okay. We did name it ID, so go ahead and grab that. With destructuring. Use params. Perfect. Let's just make sure this is working before we move any farther along. Here goes our product ID. Perfect. All right. So now we need to fetch our product by ID or with our ID. Let's go to our product page. Let's import our context. Shop context. Context from, where are we at? So we need to go back. Context. Shop context. Perfect. Alright. Context. Alright. Get rid of that for a second. And then shop context. Okay. So we need fetch product. What is it? With ID. And then we also need to be able to add items to the cart from the product page. Item to checkout. And then we also need that product. Okay, perfect. Alright, so let's go ahead and use our use effect. Don't need that. We're gonna fetch our product with ID. Put our ID in. Okay, don't need that. Here we're gonna put in fetch. Let's go ahead and copy and paste it. Perfect. We're using them both in there. Alright, so we're going to the product page. There we go. There goes our product. Perfect. Okay. Alright, so just like the home page, we need our loading state, or our loading page while our data is loaded from Shopify. So if new product, lowercase p, return perfect. All right, so now we need to do a little bit of styling. Let's go ahead and import from Atomize. We need text. Let's go from. We need a div, button, row. We need a column and a container. Alright. We don't need any of that. Container. Row. We need so here, let's see. Let's go back to the app. Okay, so let's go to our product page. So we're gonna need two separate columns. Once again, we're going to use a div for our background image. Let's go see our background image. So from our product, images, of course you can use a carousel to loop through all of these images, but just like the last one, we're just going to use the first image. So that's product dot images. We need the first image, and then we need the source from that image. Background size equals cover. Background position equals center, like the other one. And then our height, we want to set our height to, let's say, 40 rem. Alright, let's go check this out. What's going on? Okay, so we do have a product, but see, the problem is right now is that we do have a product in our state. Even though it's empty, the product's still there. So one thing we know we need is the title. So we'll do, wrong page, product dot title. All right, let's see. There we go. There goes our image. Perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and add our text. Product dot title text. Oops. All right, and then we're gonna put our price. So we'll put our $ beforehand. Product. All right, let's see our price. So like I said before with the variants, you'll probably want to have a drop down here for like your size and another drop down for your color or whatever different variants you have or options you have, I would say. So here are your options. You can loop through that. So see, we have our color and the multiple values. So we have a black version of this boot and a charcoal. And then we have all of our sizes. So size 7 through 11. And you would put that there. And whenever you put that in, you can then compare it and get your variants from there. So for now, we're just going to use the verse variant, price $188. So product variants. All right, the first one. And then we need the price from that. Close that off. And then we need a button. Do we add a button? Yep. Need a button. It says add to cart. Alright. On click equals. And then that function was add item to checkout. Alright. And then from there, like I said, we need to plug in our variant ID. We're just going to use our first variant because we're not going that in depth. Sorry. Take that out. Product variants. We need the first variant and we need the ID of that first variant. And then we need to put in a quantity. We'll just say 1 for now. But of course, on a normal website, you would have something where they would add their quantity. You have your variants, and then you put that in from there, and then it would add it to the cart. Let's see. All right, so let's see how this is looking. All right, there we go. Okay, so now we need to do our cart and our nav bar. Oops, nav bar. Okay, so for our cart, actually let's do the nav bar first. Just get that out of the way. It's just some simple UI. So React functional component export. All right. And then so we're going to use context. Import. All right, and then we need to import our Atomize. The things we're using from that. So container. And then we need an anchor for our links. Need to import our link from React Router DOM. Okay, and then we need our context because we're using that use context hook. Okay, where are we? So need to go back a directory, context, shop context. Perfect. So use context. We need the function open cart. Not worried about closing it. Shop context. Perfect. All right, so go ahead and use our container. We need a link. Equals / that's for the home. Of course, we'd probably put a logo here, but for now, we're just going to put shop. Anchor. For our anchor, we want a cart. So we want a cart button in the top right corner. And with this button, all it will do is just open our cart. Video is probably getting too long, but it's all right. All right, open carts. All right, let's see what this is looking like. Oh, didn't even add it in. So in our app.js, we're going to go ahead and add it under our router. So let's import the cart. I mean the nav bar. /navbar. Perfect. Okay, so let's go to our navbar. Probably want to add a little bit of padding. I'll need some space between them, so need to make it a flex box. Display equals flex. Flex direction equals row. Padding, we'll call it 2rem. And then also justify equals space dash between. Okay, perfect. We're almost there. There we go. It's at the top. So you see cart is open true. Oh, it's only open in the cart. Yeah, we didn't have it as closed. So that's false. Then change to true. Okay. So now for our cart. It shouldn't take too long. Oh, we also need to make sure our add to cart is working as well. Let's go to our checkout. Line item 0, add to cart. We have one line item added. Sorry. Okay, let's knock this card out really quick. So our React arrow function component export. Okay. So we're going to add use context. Goodness. Need to import our context. We need to go back a directory to our context and shop context. And then we need a couple things from Atomize again. So we're going to go ahead and import those. Alright, div, we need a side drawer, capital D. Side drawer, we need text. We need a row and a column from Atomize. Perfect. And then we need to use our use context. So we need is carts open. We need to be able to close our cart. And then we need the checkouts. We need all the items from the carts. And then shop context. Perfect. Alright, so let's get this drawn out. So we're going to need to do is a side draw. So let's just go over to Atomize's documentation. Go to molecules, side drawer. Side drawer, perfect. Side drawer is open, on close. Alright, so with looks like they're using just regular state instead of context, but alright. So we need side drawer, oops. Gosh, I can't type today. Alright. And then for side drawer, it said it needed to know if it's when it's open, so is open equals is cart open. That's coming from our context. And then on close, so let me show you guys. So if we were to click the side drawer, if we were to click in this dark area, it would automatically close it. So we just need that function that would control the value of is cart open, and that's on close. All right, and that is close cart. Perfect. And then we just need our text inside of it. So say test. All right, let's go to our React app. Oh, did I save it? Yeah, I saved it. Oh, it didn't import our cart. Okay, let's add our cart in. Components, carts. Go. Perfect. All right, so let's just get this UI knocked out, and then we should be good to go. So let's use our div. Alright. Okay, so this would house all of our items. So all of our checkout items when we add them. So that's this area right here. You might want to add some other styling, but for now we're just going to do what's some basic styling. So display equals flex direction equals column margin. So with the margin, you can actually set the direction in this format. So B would be bottom, T would be top, L would be left, R would be right, X would be your horizontal, so it would be left and right, and Y would be vertical, would be top and bottom. For now, we just need some margin on the bottom. All right, and we just need 4 rems. Alright, so right now we need to loop through all of our line items whenever we add it to the cart. So we add an item to the cart, we need to loop through them, even though we only have one. So check out that line, and of course you might want to have something that would say if there are no items in the cart, or if there are no line items, you would want the UI to say no items in cart. Alright. So this would mean if we have it, go ahead and show this UI, or not UI, use this JSX. So line items dot map. Alright, for each item, I want to return something. Alright. Okay, so what comes inside of each line item? So we're going to need the title, the quantity, let's see, the variant, probably the variant title, the variant price, and the variant image. Alright, so I already have this UI ready, so just keep up. Alright, we have a key. What we always need, we'll set that as item.id. Perfect. We need a column for the image. Background image equals item variant. I cannot spell variant today. Image source. Background size equals cover. Background position equals center. Height equals 5 rem. And then we'll have a width of 4 rems. Alright. Let's go check this out. Perfect. Alright, so we need another column for our text. I need 3 of those, sorry. So one for our title. Here, we need our title variant. Yeah, variant title, and then we need our quantity. Perfect. Have our column. Let's go ahead and add our text. And this will show our price. Item dot variant dot price. Alright, let's see. So we add something to the cart. Oh. And inside the cart we've got our items. Perfect. And then we need a checkout button at the bottom. So I guess we'll go ahead and add an anchor in as well. For the anchor, we want to say checkout. href. I'm pretty sure it's href. Checkout dot web URL. So let's go over to see our web URL. So checkout web URL. So this is the URL that would take us to Shopify's checkout. Underscore blank. So we want to set our target to underscore blank because we want it to open in a separate page. Alright. Checkout. Your cart is currently empty. Perfect. So let's go ahead and add an item. Cart. Checkout. And there goes our item that we added. Of course, you'd probably want to add the total, subtotal, and taxes to it. But there you guys go. So start from the beginning. So we have our shop with our list of items. Okay. Say that we want to go ahead and buy this Monty shirt. It says our price. You'd probably want to put the description, things of other sort, that sort. Make it look better. We're going to go ahead and add it to the cart. You probably also want to add the functionality for add to cart on the product page. Let's see, open carts. Let's see. No, don't worry about it. So, of course, if you want to open your cart every time you add a product, you would just add it here. Whatever, let's just go ahead and do it then. Sorry, guys. Open carts. Okay. Let's go ahead and open this function up. Let's add it to our cart first, and then probably open it up. Let's make that look a little pretty. There we go. And it opens our cart automatically for us. All right, there you guys go. So, if you guys have any questions, just let me know in the comments. And if you guys like this and want me to go more in depth, probably style it a little bit more, or if you want me to do a little tutorial on Atomize, really been liking their software. It's pretty cool. And if you guys would like, subscribe, comment, I would love that. And you guys have a good one.